Welcome. I'm Michael Bickert. Thanks for joining me today as we explore concepts with the objective of improving your management skills and growing your business. Pause the video right now and grab a notepad and a pen. You're going to have some homework today, but I promise it's going to be easy. We have to implement things every single day, so you're going to have some action items taken away from this discussion. You know, a few years ago, I heard Jeff Bezos make some remarks in some interview along the lines of that he and I guess what would be now his ex-wife always had the attitude that they would prefer that they had resourceful children with 9 fingers versus having all of their fingers and not having resourcefulness. So I really was contemplating this recently as I considered, human resources and recruitment and the primary characteristics of the people on my team and those people that we recruit for our clients. And that's what I want you to focus on today. In fact, your homework assignment is going to be easy. I'm going to get you to write down 5 words. Those 5 words will be descriptions, characteristics of the 5 most important things you want each and every member of your team to have as part of their raw materials, their makeup. These are the must-haves. These are the things that they're deal breakers. Without them, you would not want that person on your team. And really reflect on this, and you don't have to take too much time. It's only 5 things, but what are those? Do you know what they are? Could you rattle them off right now? If not, this is going to be a really good exercise for you to do. On our website, in the careers section, we list 5 things, the must-haves, the raw materials that we look for in each and every member of our team. And we start off with honesty. And I think really that's, it should be saying trustworthiness. The second thing we say is a strong work ethic. The third thing we list is remarkable intelligence. And then the fourth thing is strong motivation. And the 5th is the ability to thrive autonomously. And as I was contemplating this quote or these remarks from Jeff Bezos on resourcefulness, I thought, you know what, that needs to be in my top 5 because resourcefulness is really, really important. And I've had experiences where my team has come back to me and they're really seeming to rely heavily on me and my opinion. And I sort of send them back and give them a few tips. And I think, the resourcefulness, it comes down to the team, going out of their way and trying all sorts of things to solve a problem, to accomplish an objective, to complete a task, to, move forward with a mandate they have without sort of giving up so quickly when they reach their first obstacle. The resourceful person looks for all sorts of ways and they find a way through, and that's really, really powerful. The whole comment about 9 fingers has inherent in it that resourcefulness is somewhat risky. Sometimes you have to put yourself out there in order to be resourceful. You might risk humiliation, looking silly. You may risk, physically, you may have something at risk when you're being resourceful and you're using tools to get a job done, and you may actually cut a finger off kind of thing. And I'll let you look up that interview and you can hear the anecdote behind it. But the idea is that resourcefulness is somewhat risky, and I think that's why some people avoid it. That's why they may be threatened by the concept of resourcefulness or haven't adopted it as a strong value. Anyway, everyone that we hire for other people, I think I'm going to make sure that our human resources department says we gotta be strongly looking for resourcefulness. And if I had to replace one of my top 5, and there's nothing saying, of course, that you can only have 5, but if I had to replace one of my top 5, I would say that ability to thrive autonomously. Our internal team members all operate in a virtual work environment, a remote work environment, a work from anywhere concept, and therefore it's extremely important to be able to thrive autonomously. And I think that's really important even if you don't work in a remote work environment, that you don't have a supervisor over your shoulder constantly. That's not the way I want to operate a business, and I don't think many people do, nor do entrepreneurs and managers have the time to constantly be checking up on their people. So working autonomously is very important. But let me go through my 5, and you're welcome to use my 5 if they work for you, but I really want you to think about your business. Your business is maybe very different than mine, and there might be some other things that are top of mind and top of your list. So honesty, as I said, I think it's a bit of a misnomer. It's related, but trustworthiness is the characteristic that I'm looking for. And that's because we need to trust one another. I need to trust my team members. If they are trustworthy, then I can trust them. And when we have a culture of trust, when we all believe in honesty, it's going to affect our attitude and our behavior. But most importantly, then I can empower my people. And that's really important. You can't empower people who aren't trustworthy. You can't empower people when you lack a culture of trust in your organization. Therefore, I really want to make sure that I have people that are honest, people that are trustworthy, so that we can develop that trust with one another. And communications flow so much better. There's just so much that comes from a culture of trust and honesty. So that's the first one on my list, and that's why we've chosen that one. The second one I mentioned is a strong work ethic. And that maybe goes without saying. You might think to yourself, well, of course, we want somebody who has a strong work ethic. Now, I've completed a whole video, we're not going to get in it today, about how interview techniques and your screening process should be able to tip you off as to whether or not prospective candidates have this. And if you're not looking for anyone right now, I still want you to do an inventory of your existing team and reconcile their characteristics with the 5 words that you write down, with those 5 characteristics, and ask yourself, does everyone on my team display all of these things? Now you know them. It's much easier than trying to ascertain that for a stranger in an interview, somebody who's applying for a job. A work ethic, there is a means by which we can pull that out in an interview and try to figure out whether a person has a strong work ethic. But of course, the reason that you want somebody with a strong work ethic is that, again, you don't want to be sort of cracking the whip and always trying to go and pump people up and motivate them to work hard. Instead, you want to find people who they've just been raised that way. They understand that if anything worth doing is worth doing well, and throughout their lives, they've had it instilled in them that they want to work hard, and they get a sense of satisfaction from that. And that's really going to benefit your business. The third one that I listed is remarkable intelligence. And this is one that I've always valued a great deal. It's really nice working with smart people. And of course, we don't have any control over that. You don't have any control over how intelligent you are. You might have a lot of control over how much knowledge you have and experience, and you can, if you're not naturally gifted and really intelligent, high IQ, you can certainly work harder to gain knowledge and experience and that kind of thing. We know that it's just so much easier to get people trained, and that intelligent people tend to do anything fairly well. That doesn't mean that the smartest person is going to be your best employee. It doesn't mean that at all. Sometimes really intelligent people have learned to sort of use their intellect as a crutch and a means through which they don't work as hard. That's where that work ethic comes in. And I have worked with very intelligent people who were very ineffective and didn't get the jobs done. And it was really disappointing to me. However, having said that, if I had to, just pick something out of the air and say, well, this is really important from the get-go as a predictor of success, intelligence would be one of those things. Intelligence has a way of making up for a lack of experience. A really intelligent person finds a way to get something done, or they learn something really quickly. And of course, experience is it's a mitigating factor for a lack of intelligence. So if you had somebody who had a great deal of experience in what it was you needed them to do, and they had a lower level of intelligence, you probably wouldn't notice that as much. But if you're trying to get somebody to get the job done and they haven't got a lot of experience with it, intelligent people do it, and they never fail to amaze me. And it's just really nice. These people can finish your sentence for you. They know what you want ahead of time. Remarkable intelligence is something that is really nice to have. And you know that. The people in your organization who are particularly bright, they often are the great problem solvers in your organization. They're very creative maybe, and they come up with good ideas, and they are a great resource for you to lean on. The next one I mentioned, number 4 on my list, and these are in no particular order, but it was a strong motivation. Now, I will tell you this. I mentioned that if I picked something out of the air and I said I wanted one predictor of success, I would say intelligence is a really good one. I will give you a caveat here. Actually, the best predictor of success is going to be the level of motivation a person has, not intelligence. The problem is, it's very difficult to understand people's motivations and to measure it or quantify how much motivation somebody has. And so that's where it's much easier to quantify intellect and that kind of thing. So I would encourage you, it's not impossible. There are ways to get to know what motivates a person and to sort of glean how motivated a person is. When a person is not motivated, and maybe they're very bright, and maybe they even have a strong work ethic, but they're not motivated, then when things get tough, or when a better opportunity comes along, or any kind of alternative to working for you, those are going to be highly attractive to these people. Someone who's very motivated pushes through, like they have motivation to get things done, and it depends what the motivation is. And let me just tell you this. The motivation cannot be money. If it's strictly money that they're motivated by, that's good. That's still a motivation. But money is really just a means to an end. So you got to dig a little deeper and find out. So what will that money represent to them? Is it security for their family? And that's really what motivates them. So if you choose motivation on your list, then I would caution you that it is difficult. You're going to have to be good in your screening process to try to understand that. But you can do this over time. If a person had all the things you thought they're motivated, they had everything else you were looking for, then over time you get to learn what motivates a person, and you can start to work with that and try to align incentives and align objectives better based on knowing their motivation. But it's about having strong motivation. Maybe they want to win. They're motivated to win. That's really what makes them tick. The last one on our list, as I mentioned, was the ability to thrive autonomously, and I've already covered that a little bit. And just to reiterate, the idea that a person on their own will work hard and you don't always have to be over their shoulder and everything. That's really valuable. I think that's going to become increasingly valuable. And so I would be reluctant to take that off my list. Like I said, it's not like you have to be stuck with 5. I think as the definition of work changes in the future, there's going to be a lot more remote work and task-based work and that kind of thing going on. And somebody who can work on their own at their own pace, it's really attractive for them. That sort of, most people appreciate that and want that. And if somebody wants that and you can give it to them and they actually thrive in that environment, it's going to be a great synergy for your company. So the resourcefulness one, I would definitely think about that, including that in your top 5. You want people who can find a way. Find a way. You've got to get something done. You've got an objective to accomplish. A resourceful person finds a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. So if they're motivated and they're resourceful, you can get it done. If they're intelligent, all these things. I was going to try and keep it simple today, and I told you your homework's really simple. I want you to think about what are the 5 for you in your organization. Perhaps because of the type of industry you're in, you have to lean much more on some kind of experience and specialized knowledge. But I want you to think about those 5 basic things. We can look at other stuff in terms of experience and what the resume says, that kind of stuff down the road. But what are the core makeup and raw materials of the person that you're looking for? The must-haves, the deal breakers. If they don't have them, we won't be able to succeed together. We won't be a good fit. And these really relate to the values of your organization. I think that's where I'm going to leave it today, and I'm curious, what are your 5? So leave. You can tell me your 5 in the comments, or tell me one that I've missed that's really critical that you think I'd be crazy not to include in my top 5. I mean, I may have overlooked something that I would say, oh yeah, we really look for that. I can't even believe I didn't list that in my top 5. Leave a comment that we can all learn from, because we need to learn from one another. Perpetual refinement.